Does your good morning feel awkward? Or do you feel you are doing it wrong? Are you not sure if you can do good mornings in the afternoon? In this video, we're going to show you how to actually do the good morning exercise and answer any questions you may have about it. First of all, we like to give good mornings in our programs for two reasons. It's a great exercise for building the posterior chain. You can build the glutes, hamstrings, and lower back. And it's also very specific, meaning that it's very similar to the competition squat, which can have some more carryover. Also, by doing good mornings and getting stronger in that position, it can also help you if you ever misgroove and get out of position during the squat. The second reason is more on the technical side. Doing the good morning is a great way to learn how to hinge and get a feel for your lower back and glutes, how they should be working together during your lifts. And learning how to hinge can also have some great benefits for your deadlift too. And it's also a great exercise to learn how to build some more upper back tightness, get into some more thoracic extension. These things are all great when you deadlift and squat, and they can help you learn the technique and make you stronger. For this exercise, it's very important to do the exercise with moderate weights and correctly, instead of going super heavy and just trying to get the weight up no matter what, because not only this will not build a very good base for you, but if you go too heavy, it will also tire you out and you won't be able to perform effectively on the things that matter, like your squat and your deadlift. So to set up for the good mornings, you will set the rack just like you're setting it up for a squat, or more specifically a low bar squat, and that is slightly below shoulder height, and you'll probably have to grip slightly wider than your squat grip. Like I said, the bar has to be in the low bar position. Going high bar on this exercise is much harder because the bar can roll down and push down on your neck and the back of your head. It will round you over. You will lose your balance and you won't be able to build that much upper back tension, and you won't be able to get into that nice extension. And if your upper back is not set up properly, you will not be able to hinge properly and the whole lift breaks apart. When you're setting up, make sure you retract and depress your shoulder blades as you're going under the bar. And in that way, you can also build a shelf for the bar to sit on and not move around during your good morning. And also remember to bring the elbows down and together, and that way you can lock your lats and you can be much more stable and build much more upper back tension. To do the actual good morning, unrack the weights with your legs and walk back like you would on a squat. You should stand slightly wider than a normal squat, and the feet can either point forward or at a slight angle like around 10 degrees. For the good morning, you should apply slightly more pressure on your heels than your toes, but you should also still hold some pressure on your toes and have a solid foot tripod so that you don't fall back. If you don't know how to do the foot tripod, you basically have to have a 3 contact point with the big toe, the small toe, and the heel, and having the feet slightly screwed in the floor, or by trying to grip the floor with your toes. After walking out and taking your stance, you look forward and brace your abs. You can think about pushing the belly between the legs or pushing your belly against your quads and having a slightly arched lower back, and this will help you hinge better. This will put your lower back in a neutral position, and it will prevent your lower back from rounding and making this a spine day movement. You also want to hold your chin slightly high while pushing the chest slightly out and pushing your back into the bar. Now comes the most important part of this movement. This is where everything falls apart for most, so make sure you get this right, and this will determine if you have a good morning or a bad morning. You have to understand that the good morning is a hinging movement, and that means that you move around the hips. With the upper back extended and the core braced, you want to start the movement by pushing your butt back or pushing your butt to touch the wall behind you, and not go down by lowering your chest. A common mistake that ruins your good mornings, you want to move through the hips, and you know if you do this incorrectly because you'll feel it in the lower back and not too much in the glutes or the hamstrings, and you will also feel that the lower back will start to round. Another common mistake with this exercise, you don't want to lock the knees completely, but you also do not want to bend them so much that it becomes a squat. You also want to keep a slight bend in the knees, and if you film from the side or if you watch it from the side, we are aiming that the shins are vertical to the ground and not at an angle. So don't break at the knees too much when you start the exercise, and also don't keep the knees completely locked out. The next point that many get wrong is how deep you have to go, and the goal is to get somewhere around slightly above parallel. However, some people may not have the mobility or coordination to do so yet, and in this case you should try to go as close to max depth as possible under the condition that your lower back does not round. When you start noticing that your lower back starts to round and the load shifts too much on the lower back, it means either that you are doing the movement wrong or that you are just not mobile enough to go that low. Once you reach depth, you want to start driving your back into the bar and start pushing the hips forward. You still want to hold a proud chest, the elbows together, and a good brace. The good morning might take some time to learn, especially if you don't know how to hinge yet, and you really have to spend the time to learn the movement and to learn how to properly hinge before you start loading heavier weights onto it. If you load it up improperly, you will not have any benefits from it, and you're also increasing your risk of injury. So there's no point in loading up heavy before you learn how to do it correctly. And the good morning is a great exercise and it has a lot of benefits, so it's worth taking some time to learn it correctly. If you have any questions about the movement, I'll be happy to answer your questions in the comments. And also, if you like this video and if you found it helpful, make sure you drop a subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.